We stopped by the side of the road to look at a map. Awful time. And a guy just comes up. Like, Quebec is the Canadian, like, it is yokel territory. The guy comes out, like, shirtless, holding a gun. He's firing it in the air.
No fucking way.
Yeah,
What?
he fired it.
Get away from my cigarette machine.
Blue Victory!
So yesterday, my girlfriend texted me and was asking about they're trying to build some furniture in their apartment, her and her flatmate, and she goes, "Can you bring over some tools? Because we don't really have a lot of tools to build this furniture with." And I'm like, "Well, yeah." And I'm like, "But like, what tools do you already have?"
How generically are we defining tool?
Yeah, I'm like, what are you in need of?
Lever, pulley,
are you short
inclined
on?
plane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
A
Are you
lathe,
short on-
axle,
a
wheel.
lathe,
Yeah,
lathing
yeah,
the table legs.
Yeah, and any kind of welding equipment. Like,
Yeah.
what are you after here? Oxyacetylene
I'm too
torch?
pretty to contribute, but continue.
Right, yeah. And so I'm like, can you just tell me what tools you have, and then I'll understand what I most need to bring in order to assemble some flat pack furniture. And then she sent me a picture and said, "This is what we have." And the picture was of a mason jar which contained 1 screwdriver and 3 longwood screws.
So anything other than this basically is a gap, but we do have a screwdriver. Did the screws go to the screwdriver? Did they match? Was it a Phillips?
I mean, they probably did. I mean, it's not like every screwdriver doesn't have its own proprietary screws.
So she was saying, now if you're worried that we don't have 3 long wood screws,
Yeah.
don't worry.
Yeah, we've got that shit.
Yeah.
You know how IKEA needs those and doesn't provide them.
That's
Certainly
right, yeah,
doesn't
it
provide
doesn't.
everything you need.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That being said, we are too weak to open the mason jar.
Yeah, of course.
Oh no, the mason jar was already partly open because the screwdriver was too long to fully fit inside.
I like the idea of a jar of tools.
Well, I actually I have a Ziploc bag of tools at mine.
Oh, to keep them fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you want to freeze them, you don't want them to get freezer burned.
Yeah, when you take
Yeah.
them through TSA. Yeah.
Freeze them in a
Of course.
Ziploc bag.
You
or
can-
pickle them in a jar.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I have a fermenting crock with a socket wrench.
Well,
in it.
like a hairdresser, like with them all in bar
Yeah.
beside. Like, those are my tools.
I don't want to contaminate this ball peen hammer.
Yeah.
No, I have a little I have a bag, it's like a Ziploc bag of, I think, a wrench, a hammer.
Those are quite heavy things to put in a Ziploc bag.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know what's it's not look.
You really got to lift it from the bottom, otherwise you're in danger of tearing.
Yeah. My mom just at one point very solemnly, not that solemn, but just handed me. I don't
You're a
need
man
these.
now?
I don't need these anymore.
Here is a sandwich bag of tools.
Here's a sandwich bag of
I
tools
don't need
if
these
I
anymore,
need.
but they're as fresh as the day I got them.
Yeah.
But so all the tools you have are bagged up like CSI murder evidence,
Correct. Yeah.
ready to be fingerprinted
Uh-huh.
and fucking
That
analyzed.
would actually be really funny to murder someone with an evidence bag, like by suffocating them with it, and then a police forensic scientist got to have a little chuckle as they put an evidence bag into another slightly larger evidence.
that's-
A Russian doll of evidence.
But
Ah,
that's-
the meta killer has struck again.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good taunting the police stuff.
Yeah.
It's been a while since the police were taunted in a new way by a
His
murderer.
first name is Detective.
yeah, that's good.
Thank you.
That's good
He
stuff.
only murders suicidal people. Yeah, this guy's funny. I mean, it's niche. It's just for us.
like you say, like a serial like you're talking about a serial killer that plays to the back of the room.
Yeah.
There we go.
He's the serial killer's serial killer.
It's like look, not everyone has been serial killed by him, but everyone who's been involved with him started serial killing.
Yeah. All of his victims went on to become serial killers.
Murders in the third degree. Something I don't know. 3 degrees away from each other, guys. Come on.
I wanted to start us off as well with a Canadian street joke. That I was told it by my very old uncle.
Can you say it? Can you tell it in the most Canadian accent you can?
It's a French Canadian one that requires a French
Oh
Canadian.
hell yeah!
accent.
Bingo.
Yeah, that's right.
Come here, nephew. I've got a joke for you.
Also, my uncle is my family's my dad's family's Anglo-Quebecois, but my uncle Gary basically stayed there his whole life, just driving up and down the podunk hick towns of Quebec, just selling gigantic tractors.
You really put your entire pussy into white parentheses other.
Yeah, it's very funny to live in the French part of Canada but be called Gary.
Yeah.
A tauntingly Anglo name. Something
Yeah.
a name so offensive to the French. They must have really hated it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary.
Yeah,
Gary.
it doesn't. It's one of these. It's like the word squirrel. You can't pronounce it in French.
Yeah.
But, so he did this, and we went on what I would only describe as a sort of an awful vacation when I was 11, where we got into a big van, sort of my whole extended father's side of the family, and just a big panel van essentially. And then
Were you
drove.
being abducted?
Wait, what's a panel van?
Yeah, someone came up to my entire family on the street and asked if they wanted some sweets. And my father was like, "We'll never get a deal like this again."
Quick, kids! Look, he's got his tools in little bags, just like we do.
Everybody in before this offer goes off the table.
He's got a whole chest freezer in here. Look at the amenities.
Come on, children first. Go, go, go. No, so we piled into a van. And we drove through like towns where we stayed in motels that were clearly there to for biker fights. Mostly, they were staging grounds for biker fights. Not a recommended vacation. We turned around well before Natashquan, where we intended to go, because it was terrible. But
Well, the guy ran out of sweets.
I had to sit up front because I was car sick the whole time.
Because you got a bad tummy from all the
I
sweets.
got a bad little tummy from all the sweets, so I had to sit up front in the kidnapper's van.
Oh, he can't handle his sweets. You go sit up front with the pedophile in that case. We'll stay back here with the Haribo.
So, my uncle, he decides to tell a joke, which just occurred to me the other day, which is that the prime minister leaves. Hey, this is a street joke. It's a Quebecois street joke just for you. The prime minister.
Me specifically.
You.
Oh, okay.
Not them. The prime minister leaves his plane in Red Deer, Alberta, and he's dressed very well and wearing like a fox fur hat. And they say, Prime Minister Chrétien, thank you so much. It's from the 90s. Thank you so much for coming here to Red Deer. I'm so excited to hear plans for the Red Deer economy. I only have one question, which is, how come the hat? He says, well, thank you very much. I left Mrs. Chrétien this morning, said I was going to Red Deer, and she said, where the fuck's at? And that was that for a whole ass week.
That's really good, actually.
Yeah. It was
No, if you're a kid, that would drive you nuts.
It was amazing.
It's the best thing you've ever heard.
I could say fuck if I make it sound like fox.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
If I'm a bit silly, I can say fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was telling it to the people in sort of sad roadside diners.
Yeah.
But there's one
How you raise your kids to become like tax consultants. Engender them with the love of a loophole early on.
Yeah.
No, I was saying
Yeah.
wear the fox hat in a French accent. I think you'll find.
Yeah. Doesn't work for a British prime minister.
No.
You just say wear the fox hat, it'd be fine. But there's one mystery from that trip though. One thing that has never been clear in my mind, because my French never was good enough, which is that we were at some point near like Sept-Îles, a city that still has lots of cigarette vending machines, even though I think they're illegal.
What
up
loophole is that?
there. We stopped by the side of the road to look at a map. Awful time. And a guy just comes out, because like Quebec is the Canadian, like it is yokel territory.
Mm-hmm.
A guy comes out like shirtless, holding a gun and just firing it in the air.
No fucking way.
Yeah,
What?
he fired it.
Get away from my cigarette machine.
Yeah, he fired because it's like the middle of the countryside. There's who are you gonna call?
Also,
Like,
you were in
Ghostbusters.
You were in a
Yeah.
terrifying panel van.
I think I don't know what a panel van is. Also.
So we got to get rid of these pedophiles. They
Yeah,
keep
yeah.
rocking up trying to get in my cigarette machine.
Isn't that just
This vending machine is for cigarettes, not sweeties.
not your
Pedophiles being a local pest.
Yeah.
You're just banging pans together like, go on, get.
Yeah. They get into the trash.
they're
They're in the air conditioning ducts again.
looking for what spare like candy.
Yeah.
Of course.
Mm.
No, and he's sort of gesturing with the gun and yelling at my uncle. And then we sort of drive away in a hurry. And I said, "What was that?" He said, "What did he call you?" He said, "Oh, you called your uncle a nasty peach," and they shut it down. And to this day, I have no idea what he was actually saying. I'm just sure it wasn't nasty peach.
Are they alive? Can you just ask?
I don't think they. I'm the only one that remembers.
Can we call your
Nasty
uncle?
Nasty
The
beach.
best possible defense.
Little beach.
Oh,
Nasty
bitch and
and
peach are
nasty
close
peach.
enough.
Maybe the
He
word
would-
you'd heard bitch.
He was speaking French. It's like
Was
pêche.
he?
Like maybe like I thought maybe like a fish. Like maybe that's rude in Quebecois French.
So your uncle was
Yeah.
like, we can't offend the child by saying he called me a fish.
We can say fuck's hat though.
Easy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Nasty peach.
we drove to an awful little town called Rivière-au-Tonnerre, and then turned around.
What accent was that?
Quebecois still.
Oh, okay.
We turned around because everyone had had enough.
I once
Okay.
heard about a Parisian family who went on holiday to Quebec and they made their kids speak English the whole time because they didn't want any of the accent rubbing off on their kids, and that's how much they hate the way that French Canadians sound.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That
Isn't
is
that
the most
insane?
French thing you could possibly
But
do.
still
Yeah.
insist on going to the
Oh, we'll visit.
Yeah.
But
we'll go.
we'll pretend we don't speak French. The only time in history a French person doesn't want to seem like they speak French.
We'll just speak English with a very heavy French accent. No one will
I
know.
refuse to admit.
Yeah, it's the exception that proves the rule. Like the French will always speak French, other than in a scenario where the most French thing they could possibly do is not speak it.
Yeah.
And under those precise drawing Excalibur from the stone type circumstances.
That's how special their loathing of the Quebecois accent is, or at least Parisians, who loathe everything. But
I mean, Quebec's
Yeah.
a fun, a fun little silly. It's Gary, my uncle. He lived at the bottom of what can only be described as a small hill, because it was one of the better places that was less expensive in Quebec to ski, and so you sort of get like a,
Starting at the bottom of the hill.
yeah,
Very cheap lift pass, short journey.
yeah. It's a strange little. Oh, sorry, cut that. That's actually not that funny. I'm gonna go to a local news article. All right. Anyway,
you little peach.
Yeah.
hey,
No need to be such a little peach about it.
no need to. Hey,
Little peach.
no need to give me some kind
Pardon my French.
of terrible.
The group chat, we're just all sending Riley the peach emoji.
Oh yeah.
No, don't do that. No, it's
Riley, your body looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay? Take back. Hey, boy.
Yeah, the peach
Turn
emoji.
around
The
and let
emoji
me
that
see
stands
that
for
thick
lower back.
That story you told about the Warhammer store is like dialogue from I Think You Should Leave. I got upset because they took a picture of my back outside the Warhammer store and it looked too big. What?
I'm trying to focus.
Exaggeration, word for word, what he said in full sincerity.
Yeah.
I'm trying to focus on painting my Warhammers.
It's such an impenetrable sentence.
It was difficult. It was a
They
difficult
took a picture
moment.
of my back in front of the Warhammer store.
But it's like
Riley
Tim
is a
Robinson thing
Warhammer-sponsored
to say.
athlete, but he's too self-conscious.
I can just imagine Tim Robinson saying that, looking down, like that's why I've been screaming at this party or whatever mad thing.
Honestly,
Yeah.
my favorite
Yeah.
bit is that like the sentence gets funnier. One of my favorite stories is my friend went on a sex date with a guy at a hotel.
A sex date?
You know when you make a sex date with a guy at a hotel.
Sure.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
And what happened was he opened the door. It's like evening, middle of the night. It's like a sexy thing, like naked under the trench type of thing. He opens the door. His first thing is, "Do you like pumpkin spice lattes?" That's the first thing he says. And he
What,
goes,
like he's greeting another spy on a park bench?
Do you like pumpkins? Because I've got us pumpkin spice lattes.
So he opens, he goes, "Do you like pumpkin spice lattes?" She's like, "What the fuck is this?" She's like, "I'm here for a sex date." And then he goes, "I got 3. What?
Was there
One for me, one for you, one for the camera guy in the wardrobe.
I think
And then this was in the UK, like Manchester or something. And then he goes, "From Tim Hortons." What?
it's too much detail.
Every single thing he said just made it more insane.
Also, if you're having some like rampant fuck evening in a hotel, it's like, thank God we've got this hot milk. You know that's what you want after.
Delicious syrup.
What is-
delicious.
He's been drinking lots of
syrupy-
pumpkin spice lattes to make sure his cum tastes festive.
mulling cum in his bowl.
Halloween.
Mulled cum.
also
But it's already warm.
Mulled
Also.
cum is very funny.
Mulled cum and lukewarm pumpkin
A few
spice
cloves
lattes.
in there.
What time was this sex date? Because it's
In the evening, so it's like those pumpkin spice lattes have been sitting out.
or he got them in the evening also. Like he was like,
as the store
as the
was
store was
closing,
closing.
give me all you got.
Oh, that makes
He's
sense
getting
though.
the yellow sticker, like the discount
The
pumpkin
last
spice
5
lattes.
minutes
He'd
at
be
Tim
like-
Hortons, I'm having a fuck date with someone later, so obviously I need three pumpkin spice lattes.
Yeah, one and a half for each of us.
They're like, oh yeah, to mull the cum.
I'm gonna, and the barista finishes the sentence. You're gonna mull the car? I know. You're gonna mull the car. I get it.
We get your type in here every day at 4:55.
It's like a
me.
special that they have on the menu.
Yeah,
just
You need to teach me how to mull cum. I'll make them.
I work for Tim Hortons.
But you never.
First day at Tim Hortons tertiary college.
You're gonna get a lot of cum mullets. Less than one. Right at the end of the day.
yeah, if you're doing the evening shift at Tim Hortons.
Don't turn off the steamer before you know for sure there are no cum mullers coming in.
Yeah, it tastes good, but don't get it in your eye. Oh, that cinnamon's a killer.
Jamming a cinnamon stick in your urethra.
It just feels like it's like I've come into some lattes and I'm willing to share them with you, my partner.
Well, I've come into some lattes like it's an inheritance.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
recently come into some lattes.
No, that is what I meant. Although I
right,
understand
okay.
it could be the other way.
I've
Like,
come into
I've gotten some. Let's just say I
would like to play a game. I've come into 2 of these lattes. But I've also been mulling my cum, so it'll be hard to detect. If you can identify the seminal beverage.
3 though.
Do you like pumpkin spice latte? Already, automatic cancellation.
Not
Automatic.
hello.
Not hello.
Did she stick around?
Oh yeah, there was free pumpkin spice latte.
Also, like, I guess what are you legitimately gonna do? Because are you gonna go opens the door and then sort of says something odd and it's
Yeah,
like
it's an innocent enough thing.
yeah,
it's not like
yeah, 'cause
gross. It's
if
just
you
weird.
if you then left, people would look at you like you were deranged. You'd be like, I had a date with a guy, but then he offered me a pumpkin spice latte, so I fucked off.
Yeah, you'd be like, what?
They'd be like, that's so odd. The only thing weirder than offering the pumpkin spice latte is any reaction to the pumpkin spice latte at all.
Milo and I.
And also a
used to-
Canadian saying, "So I fucked off." I've just learned that felt really weird. It was like the time in Edinburgh when you announced you were going for a slash,
Oh yeah.
and then just everyone's ears just went.
Yeah,
Doesn't sound
whenever
right.
we pronounce local slang, like if I say "Do you reckon," doesn't that make you feel weird?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I
Are you
note.
taking the piss?
I note it, but I
Yeah.
quite
Ugh.
like it.
Ugh.
I went to school with a Russian guy who sounded really funny when he started, because he would say things. Do you want a brew? He was making a cup of tea, and he'd be like, "You can't say. I don't say brew. You can't say brew."
Are you having a bubble, my friend?
yeah.
But Milo, you and I have a bit where we're like a thing that's technically allowed but not illegal. The suitcase full of piss.
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
famous suitcase full of piss.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this was our example.
Excuse me. Hi, Riley. I have a question.
Yeah.
Would you say the two of you have a bit? You've never performed on stage together. Is this just something you do when you're hanging out?
Yeah.
So we have performed on stage together, but that's irrelevant. We used to have a podcast.
That's how we met.
Yeah.
That's how we met. We got one
no,
after
we
the
met
other.
before, but
Yeah.
then we all performed in the
right.
book club. That's how I met Milo.
Right.
Yeah, when
of
we
course.
all
yes,
did
of
the,
course.
the
Yeah.
cursed reproduction of the Mighty Boosh.
That being said,
That
what a
was-
friendship was born.
Grouped in.
But
yeah.
I think it's a friendship bit that we have.
Uh-huh.
That's like when something is allowed, but it's
But I think it originated. Oh right, yeah.
Milo.
But right, so it's like, oh, that's a suitcase of piss. So the pumpkin spice lattes.
The suitcase of piss is like if you're going through TSA and your suitcase is full of piss. It's not illegal to have a suitcase
No.
full of piss, but
It
it's,
would be over the 100 mils allowed of liquid, unless it was a very small suitcase.
or you're checking it. But it's like it would be weird to have
like
a
a
suitcase full of piss,
Sylvanian
but not
family
illegal.
Oh,
suitcase.
okay, yeah.
So it's weird to have 3 pumpkin spice lattes on a sex date, but not illegal.
right.
Like it's sort
like,
of-
like going to a public loo for a shit and just leaving the cubicle door open.
Uh-huh.
Is that a public nudity thing? Could that be slot into that? But I know what
Maybe,
you mean.
yeah.
The idea
Yeah.
of something being really odd
What's-
but not
What's
illegal.
the worst, oddest thing?
Not a suitcase that's beyond suitcase full of piss. I
It's
feel
quite-
like that's on the line.
It's quite passive.
A suitcase full.
Yeah.
Well, I found something out about
it's a
southern.
defensive weapon more than an offensive weapon.
I found something out about southern Italy recently.
Uh-oh.
Which is that they stand on the toilets to take a shit.
Oh
Wait,
yeah.
what?
They have signs in some countries when it's like a Western style toilet saying don't. This is not one of the standing ones. Don't climb on this to
Wait,
achieve
yeah, won't
maximum squat.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like
Yeah.
creating a squatter potty.
The
Yeah.
idea of seeing a Western toilet and going, they've made some kind of plyometric squat toilet. You got to jump up there.
Yeah.
Just shake the shit out of your ass.
I once was in a Weatherspoons toilet, and a guy in the cubicle next to me had a horrible shit, like a really terrible one, which is probably normal for Weatherspoons. And then I swear at the
R.I.P.
end,
Yeah, it was Curry Thursday. He'd been through it.
but it was the one in Victoria Station. In the
Oh.
middle of the day, yeah.
Oh
But
no.
I swear I heard him tap his ass on the rim of the loo, like
Like
What
you're
were
shaking.
you doing in the Victoria
Listening to
station
that.
with us?
Yeah, like you were shaking a spoon that you're cooking.
like
with?
he was trying to ketchup
like the
or
back of
a
a
glass
ketchup
jar.
bottle,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like it's not all out. It's like, well, if it's not out from your body, tapping's not gonna.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is, you shouldn't bang the bottom. You should slap the side. That's the key thing.
You
It's
just
got
need
a
to
knife
tighten
up
your
in-
belt real well.
Got a knife up in there.
It's like looking over the thing, buddy. Can you come in here and punch me in the stomach real quick?
Can I give you a little life hack?
Okay.
It's kind of gross, but I think it works. If you don't have a squatty potty around, if you're in a public bathroom, you can flip the bin.
Flip the bin.
Flip the bin.
But
guys.
that's only for 1 foot, so you have
Yeah,
a
but
slightly rakish.
Yeah.
Like a
you
magazine
Take the bin
cover.
from the
No,
other
or-
cubicle, you're ready to go.
Or you're doing sort of Rodin's The Thinker.
Yeah.
Mm.
Flip the bin.
You flip the
You
bin.
flip the bin.
Yeah,
But that's
maybe
easier with a lady bin.
Yeah. Men's loos frequently don't have bins
No bin
in them.
No bin.
No bin.
Oh,
No
man.
bin.
No,
bin.
if you want to get rid of something, you're flushing it, or you're keeping it.
Keeping those turds,
That's right.
You know,
carrying them around.
you got to keep them for later study.
You gotta keep them.
You're flushing him, or you're
Keeping them.
I'm not flushing these away for free. There's people who pay good money for this.
That's a parent.
This is
trying
content.
someone trying to teach their kids how to use the loo. You flush it or you keep it.
I
There's
like
a
that.
rule in this
Come
house.
on, come on. I think that's a really good like potty training book for libertarians.
Flush it or keep it.
Flush it or keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the choice
I'm not
is
here to
yours.
tell you what to do. Just live with the consequences.
Yeah.
Lead, flush or keep it.
Flush it or become the primitive technology guy in Australia who builds like mud huts.
Whatever.
Making your own waddle and daub.
Oh no.
Well,
Waddle
Making
and
your own
daub
squatty
had to
potty
have
by flipping the
some
bin.
shit in
No,
it,
no,
I think.
What?
Okay.
The guy. So I'm still thinking about the lattes, man.
Okay.
Okay.
I think we all are.
He panicked. He was in his room and he thought, okay, I'm in a hotel room and a lady is going to come and have sex with me in my hotel room,
Yeah.
just like in all the films.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I need
Something nice.
to offer. Well, please.
But she's coming any minute, so he's on Google Maps.
It's
What's
quick,
open? What's
and
still
I-
open
and-
at 10 p.m.?
And I don't want to buy champagne from the hotel room
No.
service or whatever. It's not that level.
No.
And I'm not James Bond.
No.
So.
I've already spent so much money on this hotel room. I'm
Yes.
not buying champagne.
Yeah. So I can't be like, please, would you a star mix? I've got some. Care for some plain bread? I have
Can
a
I
loaf
offer you
right
a
here.
revel?
And three means there was an offer on, right? 3 has to be an
Yeah,
offer.
of course. It's like I can't
Right?
leave this
Right.
deal on the table. But also,
Clearly.
it's like
Well,
She
I want
might
hot
be
milk
very
later.
thirsty.
I'll reheat this in the morning. It's got crucial electrolytes for after my sex date.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I'm trying to find out when are the opening hours of the Manchester Tim Hortons, because that'll shed some light on
Oh
this.
my God,
thing.
we're going full detective
Let's
on this.
geolocate Bellingcat this whole thing.
And the thing
Yeah,
is,
yeah, yeah.
I have
We're doing
lots-
Figure out
OSINT.
the hotel.
Yeah, yeah.
I have-
Call the hotel.
Hi, excuse me. Have you had a strange man in who may have come in carrying 3 medium, probably pumpkin spice lattes, Tim Hortons branding?
Visible boner.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right,
yeah.
mulling his
Ah,
cum,
there's
yes.
more, yeah. There's more than one Tim Hortons in Manchester. Hang on, how long does it take for a pumpkin spice latte to get cold? We've got to triangulate here. What was
Yeah,
the brand
man.
of hotel?
A cum muller? You gotta be more specific. This is a Premier Inn. We
Yeah.
only get cum mullers in here.
Oh, there's so
Why do you think
many
people
in
are staying
Manchester.
here? Business travel, don't make me laugh. They're at the DoubleTree.
Yeah.
Okay, it's open till 11.
See? I'm telling you.
We're assuming this is central Manchester. It's
Yeah,
open
yeah,
till
yeah.
11.
Okay. Yeah,
doing
this
doing the sex
I
date
think
in
this-
like
your theory is completely
Salford
correct.
would be
Panic.
funnier.
He panicked.
he goes in for donuts.
10.
They got none
Okay,
left.
one's open 24 hours. He could have been there and be like, what's open now? It's 3 in the morning.
Guy comes in at 3 a.m. for 3 pumpkin spice lattes. You know it's nothing good. You know it's bad.
Yeah.
You know, she said the cum's too plain.
Yeah.
And he's like, but I've already eaten all my pineapples.
This
She's like,
could
well,
be
you got to go back out.
God, what an awful
That's-
stomach condition. Pineapple and pumpkin spice.
T-
It's a
Mm.
recipe to throw
TFW
up.
that comes too plain.
Yeah.
There's a guy in boxers queuing up at Tim Hortons, sort of like a meme everyone recognizes. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. The old. It's just,
Not your mother's plain cum.
Yeah. Well, I should hope not.
Some people just don't season their cum. but it's-
Yeah. White
TikTok
people.
hates it.
White
Yeah.
people do not be
White people
seasoning
don't
their
season
cum.
their cum.
White
Oh, yeah.
people's cum's not even salty. It's just flavorless.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just like drinking an egg white. There's just nothing.
like Nivea hand
Sorry.
cream.
What keeps what I
Plain, really plain.
but nourishing. Very.
Good for you.
What
It's
I
good for you.
what I keep coming back
Mm.
to is the 3.
I think there was an offer on there. Had to.
There
be.
must have been
Now
like
that we're
buy
talking about it,
2 get 1, and he was like, well, what am I?
I'm already buying.
I'm
two.
already buying 2.
I think I'm starting to understand this man. It's like in movies where they get into the mind of the killer.
Yeah. Mindhunter.
That's
Yeah.
right. He didn't feel the need to shut the door or whatever. I think
Hmm.
he got, okay, first thought is champagne.
Yeah.
But I'm not paying for that.
No.
Yeah.
And it's also
Second-
3 a.m. It could be.
It could
yeah,
be.
Yeah, exactly. And you go, okay.
The
Then-
Premier Inn fucking champagne that they have on room service. Can
Yes.
you imagine how cursed it is?
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
I, with stunning clarity, yes, can imagine how bad it is.
But also, he's going, but okay, red wine, white wine, but no cups,
Mm.
okay? Can't just get the tinnies in.
No.
That's an even worse thing to
No.
offer at the door.
Mm.
What do
Worse
women
than
like?
nothing. Oh yeah.
Ah, now he's thinking, I know what the internet's told me they like.
Uh-huh.
And it's
I've read
mainly-
about
he's like-
women.
It's
He's
mainly
like,
pumpkin spice
astrology? That's
Uh-huh.
more of a concept than a gift.
Yeah,
But-
so we've narrowed it down. What else is there?
Dogs, I
It was his
suppose,
only
but
choice.
where can I get a dog at this hour?
Can I offer you this Pomeranian?
Yeah, and you can't offer her, an Americano, just like a black coffee. She's not a cop.
So also,
Yeah.
if this is
Even though
such a-
she's dressed up like one.
Yeah, she's dressed
What
like a
is-
detective,
what?
but doesn't mean
I
she
thought-
wants detective coffee.
she's dressed like the lingerie detective, the hard-bitten New York cop who's always got his trench coat buttoned up.
Yeah.
Wait, the serial killer and then the girl that he's gonna sleep with surprises him dressed as a cop and he thinks he's finally been caught.
You were undercover, yeah.
Sort of
Yeah.
farcical Coen Brothers type misunderstanding. He just starts confessing and she's like, "You're getting really into this." Like,
Why
what?
not?
Wow.
Why not say hi?
Yeah, that's fair.
Should
Why-
we call her right now?
Why lead with the question?
It's got to be the panic. He's been
Yeah.
thinking about it so much. He's been like, I hope that this
He's-
is the
he's-
right choice.
Do you know how like you have an internal monologue and you're running through it the entire time, and then
Yeah.
she just plugged in at a moment of an internal monologue as
Yes,
opposed
that's
to
right. And it's suddenly externalized.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
it's just hit her in the face.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
So it was a blurt.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll start a sentence halfway through because you said the front of it in your head.
Yep.
That's
yeah,
what
yeah,
happened.
yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
And-
Do you like pumpkin spice?
Yeah, or it's like if there was like a mad stain on the wall, he could have equally been as worried and opened the door and gone, it wasn't me. I didn't
Yeah,
do
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah,
immediately,
Uh-huh.
immediately the problem comes out your mouth.
You could take some of the horrible little the glasses that they give you for the bathroom water.
The ones that are inexplicably covered in cellophane.
The paper.
Yeah,
They had the paper, the cellophane, and you could sort of make a little drink out of it and sort of slide it across the table.
Like
You
a
make
cowboy.
Yeah, make out like it's a cocktail. You know.
Yeah.
Mm.
Pour in
Yeah.
some pumpkin spice latte into that. You know, trying to romanticize it up a little bit, because then you'd be, we have refills. You know, maybe that's 3 for that
We
reason.
got so many refills.
So was
We're
it-
gonna be shit.
We're drinking pumpkin spice latte out of the hotel water glass because we're classy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give it to you in a paper cup.
I'm gonna give it to you in another paper cup, and an unbranded one.
So it was like 3 a.m. It was really late.
I don't know. This is our theory.
Mm.
I like the idea that she turned up slightly early,
Yeah.
and his plan was actually to simply drink 3 pumpkin spice lattes
Yeah.
to
To mull
G
the
himself
cum.
up.
Let's get-
Yeah,
or
but
just
then
get
he's like,
nice and
fuck.
Cream all the
He's
cum.
like, she's going to see I've got 3 pumpkin spice lattes undrunk, and she's not going to not ask about it. So now I have to
She
offer
probably
her one.
wants one.
Yeah. Bring your
that's what he
own
thought.
pumpkin spice latte, for fuck's sake.
Fuck, I left them out on the counter, and now she's gonna ask me for one. And I need 3 to do what I do. For my plan. My big plan.
The cum's only going to have a hint of spice.
Girls love it when you're really jittery and you poop a lot.
Yeah, when you have sex like you're being pursued by the CIA, just freaking
the bin's
out.
already flipped. She's
Sweat.
gonna know.
She's gonna know I don't flush it. I keep it. She's gonna know I'm a keeper. This has all gone wrong.
finding your Tupperware full of your own turds. Be like, those are for
You put-
sight. Look, I'm sending those to Gillian McKeith tomorrow.
When I was a boy, I was taught there were two options. But now, maybe he was planning some piss stuff.
You put the shit back into the Tim Hortons cup.
Yeah.
Oh, don't mix it up. Hey, it's Tim Hortons. How would you tell? Oh,
It's a very Canada humor.
yeah,
Hot
thank
brown.
you. I had the Tim Hortons in Manchester. It sucked. It was
As
awful.
opposed to Canadian Tim Hortons.
Well, there's a weird. I'm gonna say another
I
Canadian.
think
thing.
that was in Birmingham, wasn't
It
it?
was in Birmingham and it
Yeah.
sucked. Terrible.
I can't.
Manchester Tim Hortons. We can't comment.
No, well,
but the
Manchester
people of
Tim
Birmingham
Hortons-
are incapable of making a Tim
A
Hortons.
highly sexual Tim Hortons, as I'm given to understand it.
Yeah.
What happened? was-
come here, mate.
If you're open 24 hours, you know the market that you're sort of targeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
yeah,
demo
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
Not
coming
starting
through.
open until 3 a.m. so people can come in here and mull their cum. Something we think's disgusting.
We've had a lot of trouble with messes in the bathroom, so we're not doing that anymore.
We're operating the first Tim Hortons
Yeah.
with a keep it policy.
Yeah. When you go into a bathroom stall and there's just nothing. It's just a cubicle. It's like
Yeah.
a changing
It's
room.
a place you can do
No,
it
there's
in.
a bag. There's
Yeah.
a bag, and there's a little sign that just says, "Please
Uh,
take only pictures, leave only footprints."
Like
Welcome to
these
Chuck
brackets-
They
Berry's
sell
Tim
keep
Hortons.
cups in
Yeah.
the front.
Yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah.
brackets, ideally no footprints.
It's like a Bear Grylls SAS
Really, no
themed
pictures
restaurant.
either.
Yeah.
You're shitting into cling film and taking it with you, so the Russians will never know you were there.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a strange thing that happens to Canadians when we leave Canada, which is we
Mm.
get really nostalgic for the bad stuff from Canada.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like every year, without fail. Not this year, so with some fail. It was a
I have to build a pipeline through my house just to feel something.
It was a Canada Day party in Trafalgar Square, and they have Molson Canadian there. When I'm always really jazzed about the possibility of getting some Molson Canadian and having it for taking like English.
What is
yeah,
Molson
yeah,
Canadian?
what
It's
the
a beer.
piss of beers.
It's a Canadian beer, basically. It's the Canadian
Natty Ice.
it's the Canadian Carlsberg, basically. Your most
okay.
the most normal beer you can imagine.
Right.
You'd get it in pitchers and so on.
Right,
A bad beer, and I'm nothing but sort of energy and vim. And I go, I'll take people with me. Like, you gotta try a Canadian. You gotta try a Labatt Blue, a similar
You
beer.
gotta come to the famous Canadian location of Trafalgar Square.
That's where we have it.
And then you end up in the 24-hour Tim
Yeah.
Hortons.
Oh, then you wake up late, just face down in the keep it bathroom,
How do I make it in Manchester? Yeah,
spotless floor. Yeah, they're very good at it there.
But that's true. You get nostalgic for the stuff that the people who still live there think you're insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you have it, and you get sort of one sip. You're like, "Ooh, I'm having a Molson Canadian. I'm having a Labatt Blue," and then sort of by sip 3, you're like, remember when I left? This
Yeah.
stuff is terrible. It's the same thing when we were touring in TF in Birmingham.
Yeah.
I sort of went to. I sort of very excitedly as we were going for the train. I was like, you go on without me. I'm gonna get a Timmy's.
Aw.
And then I very happily marched up like a proud little guy, and I got a maple glaze and a double. And
What's a double-double?
Oh, a double is.
You walk out there and you go, I've kept every double I've ever eaten.
It's a coffee with 2 creams and 2 sugars, but
Oh, yum.
it's just called a double in Canada because we have to have little stuff about us. It's just the most insecure country you've ever seen.
Yeah, you have to create culture on the go.
Oh yeah, we create culture out of the dumbest shit. You're like, oh yeah, do you want to have a coffee with 2 creams and 2 sugars? It's the Canadian way. It's every way. Everyone who has coffee does that.
But how do
Unless
they-
you're mulling your cum.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, not if you're. It's 3 a.m. and you're on your way to a trench coat sex date. Yeah. No. You gotta
Well-
get the pumpkin spice in there. Otherwise, it's gonna be all shit and no fucking.
As long as you're not mulling your cum, mate.
But how do they fuck it up?
Well, they fuck it. It's bad. It's bad coffee. But it's bad not in the way that Tim Hortons was bad. That was my problem with the Birmingham Tim
Well, it
Hortons.
was the wrong kind of bad.
Yeah.
Doesn't this sort of stuff all just come from some central fucking silo labeled coffee and Comic Sans?
Yeah, it should be
isn't that-
squeezing
how-
it out of a bag. of
How
some
have they
kind.
screwed it up? That's
Okay,
what's interesting.
there must be. There must be some different thing over here. Some supply. Something is different.
Because it's difficult to.
It has to be like food regulation laws.
Something.
Yeah, it's difficult to screw up like McDonald's.
Mm.
That's when you know you've encountered a fabulously unique franchise.
Mm-hmm.
You go, wow, you guys have done it. All this stuff comes from the same massive freezer.
Mhm.
And yet, what have you done? You found a way to put your stamp on it, like all the greatest chefs. And it was to somehow microwave the lettuce. or to somehow keep the cheese raw and in a square, not melted. Even
Like
though the
a
burger is hot.
cheeseburger that's like a baked Alaska, like the rest of it's hot, but the cheese is cold.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and you
Oh,
go, wow,
boy.
well done.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Billions of dollars have gone into
I
not
have.
letting this happen. Ronald has killed himself because he's done this.
I've been to a uniquely bad McDonald's, but
Okay.
I
Go on.
have. I mean, mine's a very, very banal bad McDonald's. But do you have an example of a bad McDonald's?
Yeah, the cold cheese.
Like, is that a real one?
Yeah, that's a real example.
You-
I
where
don't
was
know how they
that?
did it.
Where was that?
I go to a lot of McDonald's
Yeah,
all
of
over
course,
the
yeah.
country.
Yeah, that is the comedian lifestyle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was once in the McDonald's in Cambridge, and it was like middle of the day at a weekend. I walked up there, I ordered a Big Mac, and then the guy sort of went away from the till for a second. He came back and he went, "I'm very sorry, we've run out of beef." And I was like, "Well, that seems hard to believe in McDonald's, but
And
fine, I
in
guess
that
I'll."
way, he created it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there we aha, there we go. And so I was like, well, that's fine. I'll get a chicken thing, I guess. And then he was like, no, it's fine. Like we'll sort it out, and then we'll bring it over to you.
I don't like that.
And then,
If it's mine, you wouldn't have told me.
and then so he gave me like fries, drink, whatever the fuck else I'd ordered, and then I went and sat down at a table, and then literally no more than 2 minutes later, he brought over to me a Big Mac, and I was just immediately hit with this vision of like the emergency cow at the back of McDonald's. They're like, sorry, Bessie, you've been with us a good many years now, but unfortunately the driver was late today.
Finally
So
happened.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
But that's right. Yeah,
You
that's,
just hear the sound of like glass breaking.
yeah.
Well, they're just bottling the cow. That's the only way.
No.
Sadly, we
Let's
know of
just
no
provide
more
glass in
humane way
case
to.
of
Oh,
emergency.
You went straight to them. It's the only humane way to instantly kill a cow.
We need to
Smashing
get
and
this Glaswegian
bottle
man.
its head.
Yeah, we broke the glass. We broke a glass case with a Glaswegian man in it who was holding a bottle. And then the cow's just.
In case of emergency, break glass with the Glaswegian man. Yeah.
The cow's just walking around. The Glaswegian man, he's there. He's behind the thing. Yeah, the emergency Anton Chigurh, who's gonna come and end this cow's life. Yeah, every McDonald's has one. It's why it's so expensive. It's where the central company actually did, because it's not that profitable to own a McDonald's franchise because you have to pay the Glaswegian guy who doesn't do any work other than just
Yeah.
the Glaswegian Anton Chigurh.
Yeah. But that's a good example of a very suspicious and bad McDonald's.
Yeah.
Unsalted fries. That's another one I've
Oof.
encountered.
Oh,
a few
that's
times. Like plain
unbearable.
fries.
Yeah, like a fry with a little sugar on it.
Yeah.
I more often encounter, and I find this to be worse, the too salted fries. Not necessarily at a McDonald's, but at a fast food place. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, these are like, it's like they're wearing a jacket.
Weirdly,
Yeah.
no
Like,
such
this
thing
is
as
too
far as
much.
I'm concerned.
I don't know. Sometimes you
Really?
just go, it's
Yeah.
like they're trying to fuck you up.
But I'm
It's
salt
like, are you
mad.
trying to give me a stroke?
I put salt on bacon. I'm with you. But
Yeah.
even a couple of times in my life, I've gone, no. I draw
Enough
the
is
line
enough.
at this.
Yeah,
This is insane. These would change the ocean if I put them in.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I'm trying to mull my cum. This is gonna fuck me right up. This is gonna set me back to
There's not
square
There's
one.
not going to be any.
yeah.
Yeah.
All the moisture's diverted to dealing with these fries.
Yeah, you're gonna be made into Pierre
Desiccated.
Jerky.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need that. I did look. I checked out some Essex local news.
All right.
Oh, exciting.
Your people.
Yeah.
And I had a
land
really
of my fathers.
I had a really fun one. It's just a question on Essex News in the transport vertical
Okay.
from EssexLive.news. Should cyclists in Essex be made to use number plates and turn signals? And I've never heard a question that would be answered more as yes by the readers of a particular local newspaper.
Yeah, that's true.
But number plates and turn signals is such an odd combination of things because cyclists are already obliged to signal
In theory.
in theory, yeah. But so they meaning like mechanical, like blinking lights would have to
I'd
be
say
fitted.
I'd go further than that. I would actually give bicycles 2 more wheels and 4 seats, and actually maybe some sort of like cover.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
maybe
of course.
reach out to companies maybe like Volkswagen or BMW to create these bicycles. That would be
so German car manufacturers mostly is what we're reaching out to.
to make what are essentially
Sure, they make the
cars.
best cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, Olga's a sponsored athlete. Yeah.
I just like it's I love posing a question about cyclists in Essex, a place where I've cycled one time, and I was pretty sure that they were trying to kill me when I was up past Chingford.
100%. I
The most
went.
dangerous game.
Yeah. Well, the least dangerous game, really, if you're driving sort of like a triple height Range Rover,
Yeah.
and I'm just there. I'm just trying to, what's the forest that they have?
Epping Forest.
That's the one. The forest that they have in Essex. I was just trying to cycle through
There
Epping
are
Forest.
multiple, but I presume that was the one.
Yeah,
you
I was trying to cycle through Epping Forest. Everyone was trying to kill me to the point where I was like, "This clearly, this is."
During the lockdown, I went out cycling. I used to cycle a lot back in the day, and I went out cycling a few times. I was like, oh, maybe I could get back into it. And the various like van drivers of Essex tried to kill me so many times. But it's funny because it's like kind of, if you're cycling in London, you'll get into like rows with people occasionally because like you're in their way or whatever, or like there's some kind of reason for it. But the people of Essex get mad at you for cycling purely because they consider it to be gay. That is that is the sum total of like, it's not because you're slowing them down or obstructing their journey. They just object to it on a conscientious level.
Yeah,
they're like, you shouldn't be doing this.
It's upset. Yeah, it's bad that you're cycling,
Yeah.
and any further misbehavior is just a sort of bonus anger
Yeah.
on top of that.
As they see you cycling, and it's like, oh, so what are you trying to say about me, cunt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it about Essex, Milo, that has engendered this? Is it because it's like, it's just not on?
To be fair,
A bloke needs a motor.
my big theory is that all of the home counties are effectively the same. Like, a lot of stuff gets put on Essex, but if you go to an equivalently shitty town in like Hertfordshire or Buckinghamshire or Surrey or wherever, it's the same people doing the same stuff. So I think it's kind of a like, I don't know, the South. I don't have as good of a read on the North, but I feel like it probably exists in the right parts of the North. There's just this sort of sense of like,
I think there's more
cycling. What are you, French?
I think there's more cycling in the north because of all the mountains and it's more open and stuff.
Yeah, like in like the national parks or whatever. But I feel like if you're in like, I don't know, some part of Cheshire just outside Manchester, like a sort of suburban, you're probably going to get the same guy in the same van yelling the same thing, but in a slightly different accent.
I don't know. I never found that same kind of short fuse, like just beneath
Interesting.
the earth's crust kind of rage that you get in specifically Essex and Kent, I think.
Yeah.
I think
Essex and Kent are the
same.
worst two places.
Yeah.
Well, there's another one here, which is
Everyone's furious.
life in the Essex seaside town where very little changes due to its very strict council, where you can't
Right.
open any businesses.
Is that a headline?
Yeah.
Which council is this? Which area?
Wait, what's their reasoning for not being able to open a new business?
Very
It's called
strict council.
Frinton, and the council has banned everything.
Why?
Okay.
Well, it has a long and controversial history of businesses not being opened in the town, with the town not even having a pub until 2000.
Okay, that's just sick.
Wow.
Because that's, I think, the same mindset of you shouldn't be cycling, you shouldn't be doing anything, children shouldn't be out.
Nothing should be happening ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where is that in the British brain?
It's very
Why
funny
is
just
it
like
there?
slowly removing anything from a town that would make it possible to live there in order to
Yeah.
preserve the lifestyle of the town. Well, no, there's no shop. There's actually no houses either.
Yeah.
It's just a field really, but that's how we like it.
But yeah, but it's this immoral to have fun.
Yeah.
I've been struggling to write this bit because I think it's an observation more so than a joke. But it's like VIP in the UK is not for you to have a nicer time. It's you're paying extra to see someone else have a bad time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You could save a lot of money on VIP tickets if you just were like, if you get a VIP ticket, we will hit someone else in the shin with a 2x4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same experience. You can just point to someone and we'll have a go at them.
Yeah.
That would be a fun way to do club entries.
See,
It's like
I
two
told you,
keys.
British people fucking love that shit. He's like, this is a good idea.
One of you is like,
Yeah.
whichever queue you're in, you get a table and a bottle of champagne with a sparkler in it. But if the queue that you pay to be in, the difference is no one punches you in the face on the way in.
Yeah.
And if you're in the free queue, you mostly don't get punched in the face because more people take the punt on it. But there's like a 10%
Yeah.
chance that you're just gonna get wanged.
Can happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It can happen, and it's legal
Yeah.
because technically it's a boxing match in there. That's how it's legal. They've
It's what's
made
really
it a boxing
funny
match.
with like the shitty airline, like the premium Ryanair or the EasyJet Speedy Boarding or whatever, and just
Yeah.
like the majority of people buy it. But it's like, well, okay, now 90% of the passengers have paid to get on the plane first.
Yeah.
Also,
Like, why do you want to be on it? It's an
Yeah, it's
EasyJet
the same
flight. I want to get
seat.
on it last.
Yeah.
It's the same seat, but then you get to watch someone get on last.
You
That's
get
the
to-
VIP.
Well, you get to
Yeah.
watch them get on last and have nowhere to put their bag.
Yeah.
yeah, ooh,
And that's what you're paying
yeah.
for,
That's
that
the
pain.
British. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone
Yeah.
else is paying.
But is it
Yeah.
just that it's just all these people who, by virtue of buying a house for 7p in 1969, are now millionaires, and they just want to sit and be left alone and receive Ocado orders in silence. So they can't be a pub or a fish and chip shop or anything because that would fuck up their
Shut up, I'm watching Tipping Point. with
constant
Ben Shepherd.
retirement. Yeah,
Yeah,
the young people with their sounds and yelling and moving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
They
love
love
when
sound
older people
sights.
act like something like that's been around forever is a new
a
thing.
new horrible
Oh
thing.
my god, it's my favorite thing in the world.
Old
Young
people-
people, they're into stimuli. I personally, I'm in a sensory deprivation tank.
Yeah.
Once a man like in his I want to say 60s got really mad at me for having headphones, and I got so upset I googled when headphones were invented, and they were invented in like the
A
1920s.
long time ago.
Yeah, he knows what they are.
But it's like,
Sorry, I got
Yeah.
real upset.
no,
How-
you're right.
How dare you have headphones? First of all, if you have music, you should play it for the whole train.
Yeah. Shit,
Stop
did you-
hoarding it.
I hope you brought enough sound for the rest of the class.
These young people enjoying the stylings of the Big Bopper.
But I think. What the fuck was I gonna say?
Turning
I-
up-
No, I got more
Wait,
facts about this town.
Turning up to your sex date and the guy's wearing headphones and he's like, I suppose you'll want to listen to the Big Bopper as well.
Ugh,
Don't worry, I have two other pairs.
you're early.
Yeah.
There was an offer on.
But the irony is that old people could have loads of stuff that they would be upset at like Gen Z about, but they don't know about it because they're old. Whereas if they spend enough time on TikTok, they'd be like, "Oh no, we're very upset about this. This is fucking psychotic. This is a horrible."
100 gex? It's too many gex in my view.
Yeah.
What's an attachment style?
Yeah, they're just like, this is like a portal into hell.
I would love if old people learned like therapy speak.
Yeah, it would be amazing.
Yeah, like their
Oh,
sort of
yeah.
their retirement home relationships. Just being, I need you to honor my boundaries, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
I'm setting a clear boundary, which is that I want to lie in my shit. And it's actually violence against me that you're doing right now by trying to make me clean
Trying
it
to
up.
clean me up.
I told you I was a keeper.
What is with what is with the North Americans and their love of using honor as a verb?
I
We've
left.
We've got to honor this and honor a boundary and honor a sacrifice and
Yeah.
honor wishes.
I
They
love-
love it. They love
they-
honoring.
It started after I left.
Did it?
Yeah, it started after I came back.
Like,
and they
he's
were all
gone,
You
let's
honor
play a
a
joke on
reservation
him.
at a restaurant, don't you?
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
crazy.
I will honor
Too
this.
intense.
Calm down.
Handing you the reservation folded into a triangle and you like salute.
Yeah. Yeah. I made an
Proud
oath.
to be at this restaurant.
I made an oath to eat here at 7 o'clock, and I will honor that.
So carrying it over to your table folded and you start crying. You're like, I'm sorry, ma'am. He never turned up.
getting like the,
He's probably at Tim Hortons right now getting 3 pumpkin spice lattes.
being given the 4 feathers of cowardice by the restaurant for not turning up to your reservation.
There was too much cinnamon in his urethra.
It's
That old
swirled.
excuse.
Yeah.
So, as a seaside town, it seems hard to believe, but fish and chip shops were also banned.
What?
They only attract
Wait, is this the town from Footloose? What's happening?
Yeah. They attract seagulls. That'll be it. Genuinely. They'll be like, oh, noise.
The first fish and chip shop only allowed as of 1992. A second fish and chip shop was later allowed.
It was
But it
cool Britannia
but-
then. Yeah, we can have a fish and chip shop in Frinton-on-Sea. And then it starts playing like Fool's Gold by the Stone Roses. Yeah, Frinton was popping back in 92.
But
Even though the first pub wouldn't be open till 2000. People were crazy, man.
also, why open a fish and chip shop? Anyway, it was only they only allowed takeaway in COVID.
Wow. Wait, how can you not allow takeaway? You could go and get takeaway from another town and bring it in there. Like, there's like the police roadblock where you're going, what's this, sir? It smells a lot like tikka masala.
No, it's literally a table service only fish and chip shop. Madam, you're going to sit and dine with cutlery.
And honor this reservation.
It's a 3-course meal. Like, you have like the gherkin first.
No, you have their interpretation of the gherkin, which is like what we've done is we've taken the concept of the mushy peas and we've reimagined it with gherkin as a core ingredient.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoy. And then they sort of float away, you know?
We did have gherkins, but the tang was too loud. So it's plain cucumbers now.
Well,
No, there's
tang.
There's too much snap. Too much snap.
Oh, they're just in water.
Old soft cucumbers. That's what we have now.
Sorry, waiter. I ordered a gherkin, but you appear to have brought me a screwdriver. Oh, sorry, wrong jar. I was
it's all
assembling
coming
some
full
flat pack furniture
Oh,
earlier.
that's a beautiful full circle moment. That's stunning.
Here's another one. When the Sainsbury's came to the high street, it was a real challenge. The council wouldn't allow it because it had an orange sign.
Well, that's too. Well, what is their objection to our idea? It's like a
Controlled by the IRA.
sectarian. Yeah. An orange sign, is it? That might pass muster in Malden, but in Frenton, I don't think so.
Sainsbury's couldn't come until they changed their sign. It was too
They
loud.
couldn't come until they finished 3 Tim Hortons.
It was too bright.
Spice
It
latte.
was too bright. The kids were going to look at it and get all stimulated.
This reminds me, and this is sort of reference to what I was talking earlier. I'm from a town in Essex called Harlow, which is like a shit new town. Where like you're imagining like a white van man from Essex, that's where he lives. It's like the perfect consummation. And there's a town now. So near where I live in Essex, there is a promontory of Hertfordshire that like juts into Essex, where those towns may as well be spiritually like everything on all 3 sides of them is Essex.
Right, it's the Essex salient.
But the people there are even more adamant that they're from Hertfordshire, precisely because they know how Essex that bit of Hertfordshire is. And there's a town there, a market town called Bishop Stortford.
Oh, I've
Well,
been there
I
a few
believe
times.
I believe
right,
a
yeah.
friend of the show, Charlie Palmer, is from Bishop Stortford, correct?
He is, or sort of near. Well, actually, Charlie Palmer is technically from Essex, but the nearest town is Bishop Stortford. He's from like an Essex village that's not far from there.
I've met Charlie Palmer.
You have met it.
Continue.
Many people have.
Sound off in the comments. Have you met Charlie Palmer?
Yeah.
I'll kill you.
So, my dad, God rest him, who was a great lover of local news, and so would have really enjoyed this podcast. He was a fan of local news, especially property listings, and he used to buy, for some reason, the Bishop Stortford local paper because he found the Harlow local papers were not good enough. They weren't up to his standards. So he used to buy the Bishop Stortford local paper, and I was always like, why are you doing this? They're just always going on about Bishop Stortford, and often just disparaging Harlow. That was often like it was like it was like when you hear about 2 warring newspaper barons in the 19th century in the American West or
The
something.
yellow print. Shelbyville.
But yeah, I don't know what the Harlow Star was saying about the people of Bishop Stortford, but the Bishop Stortford Observer was often making a point about the people of Harlow. And a few years ago,
We now have a cycle lane, unlike those hogs in Harlow.
unlike the troglodytes dragging their knuckles through the bus lane, like the swine they are.
Yeah.
And so
Neither of these places would ever have a cycle lane.
Harlow actually very well equipped for cycle lanes. But like off-road cycle
Would
lanes.
you say it has
like,
attractive rates for businesses looking to set up in the area?
Yeah, probably. But
Yeah.
very cheap rent. I mean, if you're looking to take over the old premises of Scene nightclub or like this one restaurant that keeps changing its name, but I'm pretty sure is owned by the Turkish mafia.
How do you feel about the color orange?
I love it.
Okay.
I love it. But yeah, so they a few years ago they were trying to build an Aldi in Bishop Stortford on the site of an old car dealership, and the local newspaper did a vox pop of people because I think it was like a planning consultation at the time, and then they interviewed this one woman who said, "An Aldi in Bishop Stortford is just ridiculous. Soon we'll be no better than Harlow." And I was like, it's amazing to me that this is a thing that was said in full seriousness to a newspaper journalist.
Grief in the voice.
But that is the spirit of Britain, you know.
Yeah.
That and if you touch my bins, I'll kill you.
Yeah. Those are the 2 things that unite the nation.
Yeah, those are the 2 emotions that you can feel at any one time.
No, I have one more sort of fun Essex thing.
Okay.
This is gonna require you to say something in your police voice. So
Okay.
I'm just gonna pass this over to you.
A spokesman for Essex Police said, "We were called to Revolution nightclub on Queens Road, Southend, at approximately 1:30 a.m. on Sunday, 21st of May, following reports of a large disturbance inside involving around 20 people. Inquiries are ongoing. A 30-year-old man from Lee was quickly arrested by officers on suspicion of affray and possession of Class A drugs."
I just really like the a 20-person brawl in a Revolutions in Essex.
This is actually great. In response to the incident, a spokesman for Revolution Southend, which is very funny. Like
Dream
the guy,
gig, dream job.
Yeah, absolutely. The guy who's like,
Busy guy.
Revolution Southend in the news again. I'm being called up. We are aware of the incident which happened on Saturday night within our venue involving a number of our guests, our esteemed guests. The police attended the bar in the early hours of Sunday morning, and we are assisting them with any ongoing inquiries in relation to this incident. I like the idea of ongoing inquiries.
Calling them guests as well.
Guests is funny.
Imagine doing like Enron and then doing PR for this afterwards.
Wait, sorry, actually no. This is the perfect local newspaper ending to this. Last year, Revolution Southend Bar underwent a full transformation, unveiling a new, in quotes, Instagram-worthy look, following a £90,000 interior overhaul. Because the people of Basildon were sat there going, "But how much did the interior overhaul cost? Is it worth going? Do I need to go and see it?"
Many of our guests enjoy posing in front of these neon angel wings.
Well, I suspect that the affray was started when 20 gentlemen all wished to be the next in line to pose with the neon angel wings.
Yes, many of our guests were too refreshed. Some of the libations we offer here at Revolution
Ironically, the
Southend.
brawl happened under a neon sign that said, "Well-behaved women rarely make history."
Exactly. Yeah.
Our clientele is made up of people who find all bar one to be a little pretentious. We think of ourselves as a more down-to-earth establishment than...
Good salt of the earth vodka bar.
Why, mine's a cosmopolitan.
Southend is a very frightening place.
Well, we went to Southend,
Yeah, we did.
didn't
They
we?
have a good theme park.
Yeah, and the longest pier in the world.
Yeah, we went on the pier. It was the main thing about it was quite long.
It's very funny because all of the stuff is at the end of it, so it actually makes it a worse pier because you have to walk 1.5 miles and then you're at the pier
Right.
attractions. And between the land and the pier, you're just walking on like a wooden path, but that's in the sea. But the novelty of that wears off, I would say, within about 200 to 300 meters. And then you've got a good long way to think about.
Your life, your mistakes.
To earn it.
You're nice and tired for your attractions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they don't want people getting rowdy at the attractions. They don't want a brawl to break out in the queue for the soft serve ice cream.
Yeah,
That's what kicked off in Revolutions. All the guys were just so jazzed that there was maybe a meter of wooden path to get into the Revolutions. They had so much energy left.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That would be fun to build a little pier to get into the... like constructing a sort of moat.
Yeah.
You got to keep out the affray.
Yeah.
You know, as sort of as the country collapses back into feudalism. I mean, who will be there but revolutions to restore order?
It's funny, isn't it, that
It's in the
kind
name.
of at some
That's
point
true.
in your life, I would say around the age of, like 21, 22, it becomes set for you in your life, whether you are a person who gets into fights at kebab shops regularly or not.
Yeah.
Like, it's a type of guy, it's like a class in a video game. Like, you must choose to become kebab shop berserker or not. But if you do, it's kind of like your whole life. Because you see old guys doing it.
Yeah.
See
Keeping
men
it
in
up.
their 50s just going at it in the kebab shop queue.
But what is it that they're fighting about?
They're furious in general,
Mm-hmm.
and they're even more furious about whatever their evening has been.
Mm-hmm.
And they're drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And
And they
then
saw
I
a
went to-
cyclist.
and
I
they
went
saw
to
a cyclist.
Revolutions and I couldn't take a photo behind the angel wing.
There was no pier.
Yeah.
They're furious. They saw a cyclist. There was no pier. There were no angel wings photos. And now someone is having a kebab before them, or has lightly brushed their shoulder, or other things that deserve.
Yeah. Tracy said, "Why don't I just get the photo for me Instagram in the chip shop? It's not the same as I have a fucking live, laugh, love sign in here."
What did this chip shop spend on its retrofit? 40K.
Yeah. There you go. Oh fuck. So this is, sadly now this has been taken down, but there's a chip shop in my hometown. In Essex. Sorry, I'll just take that again because I was handling a laptop at the time. sadly, these renovations have now been taken down because the chip shop changed hands. But about maybe 8 years ago, the chip shop in my hometown in Essex did a renovation. And it was maybe a year or 2 years after the Brexit vote. And I went in there, having been away for a while, and discovered this thing. And they'd done this whole like mural of like British stuff on the wall, but which included like a picture of Margaret Thatcher, a picture of Lee Rigby, like the Beatles, other like random stuff. And it also had a like a graphic where it was the half the Union Jack and half the EU flag, but with like a rip effect, and it said, you know, like 52 and 48%, like a Brexit reference. And this whole thing was like, the more you looked at it, it was like a madness rune. Like you could just disappear down all of these alleyways. Like, yeah, when I saw Lee Rigby on it was quite a small Lee Rigby. I was like,
They thought, well, we need to put him on.
yeah, we got to have the murdered soldier.
Everyone's going to be talking about him forever, of course. No one's going to, in 5 to 7 years, be like, who's that?
Well, it was out of date then. I mean, they must have done this in earliest 2017, and I think Lee Rigby was what, like 2013 or I think
Can
I
I
was
ask
at
who Lee
university.
Rigby is?
See?
He got beheaded in the street by some terrorists.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's
Yeah.
terrible.
But
Yeah,
also,
'cause
but it's
it
one of
woke.
those things that was like a big, like they're after our boys, you
Oh
know,
no.
terror attack kind of thing. It was very evocative. But
So
it's
Hieronymus Bosch came in and did the mural.
yeah,
Well, I
At
just
the
think
fish and chip
it's a hell of a
shop.
thing to choose for a fish and chip shop mural.
Oh,
A
boy.
mural of British things would also, of course, include like someone like touching a bin, but with a claymore mine on it. You know?
Yeah, well, what it should the mural should have been a bunch of people in local newspapers looking disappointed next to objects.
Yes.
All right, that's it. After we're done recording this, we're opening a fish and chip shop that we think captures the spirit of Britain. Just depressed people getting murderous about their bins, throwing bottles at cyclists, a disappointing McDonald's and a lay-by with 2 people shagging behind it.
Yeah.
And then
the thing that makes our fish and chip shop special is that we have a special offer on pumpkin spice lattes.
Yeah, that's right.
If there's a couple in there on a date, ostentatiously at the end of the fish and chip supper, we bring only the man a pumpkin spice latte
yeah.
and be like, "This is for your benefit, honey."
Victory!